to landing my first government contract that was for $70,000 for 28 days of work. And it was for 56 hours, 56 hours, right? And it was for $70,000. I said, oh my God, let me hurry up and cash this check before the feds realize they broke me this check to do a little bit of nothing. And then they come get this money, right? That was not about to happen on my watch. So anyways, so the first time that I landed a contract, I said, I wonder if this is going to work again, or did I accidentally stumble upon this opportunity? So I did it again, landed another contract. It was $60,000 simultaneously. We're talking about right on top of the other one. It was $60,000 on top of $70,000 for the similar days of work. So now I'm only working 20. So that's 28 days plus 28 days. That's what 56? That's 56 days for multiple six figures. And then I landed another contract on top of that for another 60,000, right? So now I'm working less than part-time and getting paid multiple six figures. So I have a whole year where I could just kick back, right? And so I discovered and coined this, the $1 trillion secret to government contracts. The awakening part for me was that I wanted something more. I couldn't quite put my finger on what that was, but all the people that I had studied during that time, I started looking at other mentors that I could follow, even virtually follow or vicariously follow what they were doing. They were all entrepreneurs. People like the Fords and the Vanderbilts and people like Warren Buffett, they were all entrepreneurs. And so for me, I knew, even at the early age of 20, while I was working, making really good money, but still feeling unserved or still feeling dissatisfied with my job, I knew that in order for me to live a very different life from my mom, I needed to become an entrepreneur. So I did that. So I became an entrepreneur and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. How many of you were told as an entrepreneur when you started your business that it's going to take 2 to 5 years? I bought into that too, right? It's going to take 2 to 5 years to grow your business, right? Anybody else was told that? Yes, 2 to 5 years. So typically there are some things that we've learned from just, it's not even a rule. It's just things that we learn, like belief systems that we've inherited. Things that we inherit, like the American dream, and things that we've inherited, the knowledge that we've inherited about how to really build a business. So we believed that it takes 2 to 5 years. So when you start a business, you're like, what am I going to do for 2 to 5 years? Most of you probably still do this. I'm just going to work my job and try to do my business on the side for 5 years. And then hopefully my business will take off and eventually I'll get there. For me, I didn't have that choice. I wanted to dive fully in to entrepreneurship. But I had the support system in place for me to be able to do that. Of course, my husband at the time was a provider, so I was able to do that. Not everybody is in that position. So I jumped into entrepreneurship full time, struggled for 5 years because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. All the success stories that I read in the local papers talked about how this woman or this man bootstrapped their way to the top. Bootstrap, which means struggle. So all you're thinking in your mind as a new entrepreneur is, okay, you buy into the belief system that you're supposed to struggle. But what I learned was that we did it all wrong. It wasn't until I met a multi-billionaire who became my mentor, who said everything that you're doing is wrong, right? Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it. I wanted to take some time to invite you to join me in the GovCon Challenge. The GovCon Challenge takes place once a month, where I invite a bunch of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to come and have me teach you the 5 things you must do to pre-qualify your business to land lucrative contracts with the government. So join me in the GovCon Challenge. Click on the link in the description. You'll be glad you did.
Join as VIP for exclusive behind-the-scenes information, and you could become a part of the top 1% of entrepreneurs across the nation. Now back to the video you were watching.
Sometimes not everybody has the opportunity to find or meet someone who helps put them on the right path, but everybody has the opportunity to discover something new. And the new thing that I discovered was that, wow, I can't do this on my own. I have to find a mentor. I needed that mentor to show me the right way. And so anyways, for 5 years, I worked really hard, 50 to 60 hour work weeks, making about $20,000 to $30,000 a year. 50 to 60 hour work weeks to make about $20,000 to $30,000 a year. In California, that means you're broke, right? Which means that basically what I did was I took my employee mindset and I thought that if I work really hard, eventually I would get there. I thought that was the way to go. But all I was doing was working my way back into poverty. That's all. I just worked my way out of a job and into poverty, right? If you can relate to that, if you've ever seen that happen, or maybe this has happened to you, let me know in the chat, because I want you to know who I am. I didn't just overnight become a millionaire. You have to know the backstory. This is the backstory. It was the one multi-billionaire that said to me, the same thing that you're doing, like literally my back was against the wall. I was going through a divorce. I couldn't provide for my children on my own. I couldn't figure out how I was going to pay my bills, but yet I had this business that when I saw other people with businesses, they were really excelling in business. I didn't know the difference between what I was doing and what they were doing. I just knew that something was wrong, something was off. But this one billionaire said the same thing that you're doing for me, which at the time I was freelancing. Anybody ever freelanced, right? You ever just did freelance work, whatever you want, whatever you're going to pay me for, I'm just going to do this, whatever it is. So I freelance photography. I freelance some video production. I freelance some graphic design. I learned how to build websites, and I freelanced my way through that process. And that's how I was making $20,000 to $30,000 a year as a freelancer. He said the same thing that you're doing for me, freelancing photography, freelancing, building my website, freelancing, doing my videos for me, you can do for the government. Light bulb went off. He said the same thing that you see Warren Buffett, the same thing that you see Amazon, the same thing that you see with all these mega companies like Walmart and all these mega companies. That's exactly the secret of what they're doing. They're doing business with the number one biggest purchaser of business products and services in the world. And for me, I was like, what? You could do that? I didn't even know you could sell to the government. Anybody, before you heard about this challenge, or before you start seeing it maybe on the internet about government contracts, anybody knew, like, when you first started your business, did you think that the government could be your customer? No, we're thinking about government war weapons. We're thinking about government prison. We're thinking about government raids. If you grew up how I grew up, you're thinking about raids, IRS busting through your door, or the feds coming and knock down your door. You're thinking about that, right? You're not thinking about the government being your partner or doing business with the government. You're not thinking about that because you don't think that you qualify. What I realized was that what I discovered after doing some research, after he told me, he didn't tell me how to do it. I had to figure it out on my own. So I spent the next few years trying to figure it out, doing it all wrong. And so anyways, when I figured out how to literally do this stuff, I went from making $20,000 to $30,000 a year, working 40 to 50 hour weeks, to landing my first government contract that was for $70,000 for 28 days of work. And it was for 56 hours. 56 hours. And it was for $70,000. I said, oh my God, let me hurry up and cash this check before the feds realized they broke me this check to do a little bit of nothing. And then they come get this money, right? That was not about to happen on my watch. So anyways, what I realized was that, oh my God, I just discovered something. All this time that we've been told 5 years to build a business, target an avatar of people who have a certain marital status, who make a certain amount of money per year, who live in a certain region, when all I had to do was do business with the government. And not only would it not have taken me 2 to 5 years to grow a business, but it would have I could have did this in my first 30, 60, 90 days. So the first time that I landed a contract, I said, I wonder if this is going to work again, or did I accidentally stumble upon this opportunity? So I did it again, landed another contract. It was 60,000 simultaneously. We're talking about right on top of the other one. It was 60,000 on top of 70,000 for the similar days of work. So now I'm only working 20. So that's 28 days plus 28 days. What? 56? That's 56 days for multiple six figures. And then I landed another contract on top of that for another 60,000, right? So now I'm working less than part-time and getting paid multiple six figures. So I have a whole year where I can just kick back, right? And so I discovered and coined this the $1 trillion secret to government contracts.